liquid letter. What's that one letter in your Myers-Briggs that you're not sure of? And if it changes, how big of a difference does it make? If you think about it, the pattern probably looks something like 1, 3, 4, 2 as far as extremes go. Meaning, if you're introverted or extroverted, like an ENFJ versus an INFJ, INFP versus an ENFP, ENTJ, INTJ. I get a lot of those questions when people are asking me to type them because they're very similar. It's basically, oh, am I more comfortable with this scenario versus this social group? Am I loud? Am I quiet? How mature am I within my personality, within my confidence level? Which all equate to this question of, am I an extrovert or introvert? It's a very easy letter, and I think that's the most liquid of the four. Just talking horizontal code, not cognitive stacks, nothing on the vertical plane of the 8 cognitive functions, just the 4 letters that we display, that we show the world, right? So the first one is obviously extrovert or introvert. Very easy to be liquid with. Then the next one is the third function, 1, 3, 4, 2. Am I a thinker or a feeler? I get a lot of INTJ versus INFJ questions. INFP versus INTP. ESTP versus ESFP. Less common on that one. But you see what I'm getting at. And if that's the one that's liquid for you, then you're questioning, am I a feeler or a thinker? Which means, technically speaking, you don't quite understand that if you're a feeler, you do have thinking functions, which allows people to be confident in knowing, oh, I am an INFJ, not an INTJ. Thank you. Thank you. Because you have to realize that the cognitive stacks support the horizontal code from Myers-Briggs. So feelers can have thinker functions that are extreme or, underdeveloped. That has nothing to do with if you're a feeler or a thinker. In general, that's why the third letter is second place on my liquid letter scale. What about that fourth letter, 1, 3, 4, 2? An ESFP versus ESFJ. Yeah, they're different. ESFJs have their tribe, and ESFPs just want to entertain everybody. But there are these subtle differences. But the entire cognitive stack is completely changed. Their strengths are not my strengths as an ESFP, right? And vice versa. Same for you and your fourth letter. The one that you're questioning, that's a bigger difference. You can question the idea of, oh, did I have trauma more so on this letter? When somebody's having a difficult time typing themselves, it's easy to say, oh, you have trauma on one of your 4 letters. And that can, for the most part, solve a lot of problems. Somehow I made that up, and a lot of people, even psychologists, have reached out to me saying, that's genius. Maybe I should finish my book. Anyway, look me up later and check out my YouTube channel because we have a lot of random weird stuff that I've never heard anybody else say. Happy to be the outcast. Outcast, weirdo, whatever. Being weird is great, so be okay with that. Personality guy, I will tell you that. Moving on. The most extreme, like the biggest difference if you have a letter switch, is that second freaking letter. A sensor versus an intuitive is the most obvious difference. So when someone says to me, am I ESFP or ENFP? I mean, just look at the videos of me and my brother, okay? He's in there, he's there somewhere, he loves you guys, he's ENFP. 100,000% ENFP. And that's how I know all these insider things on ENFPs, because he tells me. Now let's say INFP versus ISFP. That's the second letter, which is 4th place on the extreme, or rather the most extreme, I should say, it's backwards. ISFP has the tendency to be very skittish. Well, so does the INFP. Skittish as in not following through with what they say, getting out of things if they want to, hard to grasp, the most likely to ghost somebody. Skittish. How fast did they talk, for example? An ISFP can talk really fast. An ESFP can talk really fast. An INFP is a little more contemplative. No, they have this lag when they start, no, yes, no. It's intuitive because they're coming from the inside out. There's a slight lag with that response. That's what intuition is seen on the outside. As a sensor, we just kind of say it as it is. Ever talked to an ESTP and they kind of said something that was slightly mean? Like, why'd you do that? That was really stupid. ESTPs are known for just saying it, which is why they're known as the cool ones. They'll just say the things as they are. An ESFP, we tend to slip up a lot because we just say it. We don't mean to hurt your feelings. So that's where the F comes in for the ESFP versus ESTP. That's talking about the third letter again. Let's talk about the second letter. An INFJ versus ISFJ. Okay, there you go. There you go. There's actually a lot of you guys on my channel. Which is actually interesting because our ISFJ over here probably says that half of you guys are actually ISFJs, not INFJs on my channel at least. Because remember, when you're typing yourself, you tend to get these 1-letter switches. That's why these tests are notoriously wrong, at least by 1 freaking letter. And if it's that second letter, it's a big switch, meaning everything is different. An ENFP's dominant function's NE. ESFP's demon function's NE. See how it's completely opposite? They have the same parent function and the same child function. An INTP versus ISTP. Very different. INTPs like to talk about things and concepts and ideas and formulas. They're known as the Einsteins. An ISTP is known as the tradesperson. They're very good at trades, solving puzzles on a physical plane. You can kind of tell that they'd be kind of sharp, maybe even mean. One time I complimented an ISTP. I said, you guys are funny. And he laughs. He said, hey, Joe, this guy thinks we're funny. He looks at me, he's like, most people think that we're just jerks. And I was like, but you can see how the stereotypes are. Not all ISTPs have a New York accent. Not all INTPs are genius Einsteins. But you can tell that one would be in a lab, stereotypically, and one would be out doing a trade, like the guy doing plumbing and electrical work. Massive observable differences. An ENFP on set of a film is going to be very loud and very everywhere, and they just kind of go for it. You know what it is? Hey, let's try it again. An ESFP is going to be like, Really subtle, really, okay, how do we entertain this crowd and then actually go for it? That's what it is, absolutely. We're both entertaining, but an ENFP is way more boisterous. An ESFP is quite subtle. We talk faster. An ENFP is, well, just watch the videos of me and my brother. But I will tell you one thing, as I mentioned before, anybody who has a letter switch and they're two together on that second letter, they have the biggest rub. ISFJ versus an INFJ. Sure, they can get along, but eventually that functional second letter is just going to be like, thinking too surface level, says the intuitive. Too shallow. They don't think enough about things. The sensors are going to be like, yo, this is practical. Let's get this done and move forward. Because I'd rather be making money than talking about making money. That's why a lot of teachers, especially school teachers in the olden days, were very intuitive with the whole theory versus practice. Intuitives love theory, the idea of something. And oh, what if this? What if that? What if I'm this personality type? What does that mean for my pair? A lot of intuitives are on my channel because there's the what if factor. A sensor is going to be like, I can't touch this, I can't test it, let's go for it. It's a sensory function. Let's look at the sharp ESTJs. Get to the point. ISTJs. ISTPs, let's go. They won't say that, they'll just start doing it. That's the sensory nature. And back to the ISFP, very flaky, very, in and out. Very opinionated, very talented. ISFPs. Anyway, let's bring it full circle. The most liquid of all letters is the first one. Your introverted or extroversion status is not that big of a deal, but it is because everything's gonna be crisscrossed all the way down your cognitive stack. NFJs and ENFJs are both still visionary, and they both take care of other people. It's just that the ENFJs are giant fun personalities because they're FE dominant. They have their groups and they're everywhere for everybody. And an INFJ is gonna be very guarded with that, with their FE giving, because they need to have their vision listened to and all the other things that go with an INFJ versus the ENFJ. They are very different, but they're not that different. Recapping the 1, 3, 4, 2, a feeler is not a thinker, but a thinker can have feeling functions and vice versa, which is why it's okay to be a type. The last letter is quite a bit more. You're gonna have quite a big change, even though the on surface level kind of seems, okay, something's off. INFJ versus INFP, well, what's the difference? Well, I've got a few things on YouTube that you might like, but that biggest difference is the second letter. So if you're having struggles with any of these, let me know. Happy to help. Happy to make more content. Hope you guys are liking the channel. Thanks for subscribing, even if you hate me. Thanks for the follows. We got 100 followers yesterday. I'm freaking out. I love you guys so much. I hope I'm making some sort of impact on your lives because you're making an impact on mine. I love you. We'll see you. Rick Osmond out.